Focus, a weekly program about important issues and events in the two Virginias.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Melinda Zosh. This morning, we're putting the spotlight on Carnegie Hall. We're talking about the one in Lewisburg, although there is one in New York City as well. But we're putting the spotlight on Carnegie Hall in Greenbrier County. So we will talk about the history and the mission, some upcoming events, and much more. Joining me now via Zoom to share their insight are Cathy Rennard, the CEO of Carnegie Hall. Also joining us this morning, Alan Sizemore, the artistic director, and also artists Doris Fields and Robbie Moore will be joining us in just a bit. But first, Cathy, I'll start with you. For those who are unfamiliar, what exactly is Carnegie Hall?
Thank you, Melinda. Well, Carnegie Hall is a performing arts and education venue housed in a 25,000 square foot historic building in Lewisburg. It's one of just 4 continuously operating venues worldwide named for Andrew Carnegie, steel magnate and philanthropist. And so this 102-year-old historic building, which is magnificent in itself, but it provides a wonderful backdrop to showcase activities in accordance with our performing arts mission.
And Cathy, can you share with us more about Carnegie Hall's mission?
Sure. Well, the efficient answer of our mission statement is to bring the arts to life by cultivating an appreciation for creativity and for excellence in the arts. And we do this by partnering with the community to present a diverse range of programming that engages, entertains, and educates people from really all walks of life. Our goal is to make the arts accessible to everyone, both activities happening on site here at the hall, or when we take Carnegie programming on the road, such as when we go into the school systems. And I use the term accessible in terms of both affordability and access. For a historical building that's 100 years old plus, we are completely ADA compliant in terms of parking, ramps, and even an elevator.
And also, Cathy, you touched a bit on the history of Carnegie Hall, saying that it was named after Andrew Carnegie. Of course, he was known for steel in Pennsylvania, but can you touch a little bit more on its history and how it's changed maybe throughout the years since the early 1900s?
Absolutely. So the original building was built in accordance with Lewisburg Women's College to replace a building that had burned down. And the community reached out to Carnegie, who agreed to fund $26,000 and some odd dollars of the project if the community would partner with him. So the community raised about $10,000 and built the building that later became part of the academic space and auditorium space for Greenbrier College for Women. And it operated in this venue and other venues on the property until about 1972 when it closed. So at that time, the state purchased the property and repurposed it to become Greenbrier Center, which was a center for people with special needs. And it operated until the early 80s. Well, at that time, the building that now houses Carnegie Hall had fallen into deep disrepair and was nearly torn down and done away with. And thankfully, the citizens of Lewisburg would not allow that to happen. And they pulled their resources in about 1983 and formed Carnegie Hall Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and established a mission statement to make the arts accessible in Lewisburg, West Virginia. And it's operated in that capacity since then. We are now in our 38th season.
Wonderful, and we actually have some photos that I borrowed off of Carnegie Hall's Facebook page that we can share with our viewers in just a moment. If you haven't seen Carnegie Hall, it's absolutely beautiful. It's spectacular inside and out, and there's some of those photos. And I'd like to bring in Alan for this next question. He's the artistic director. Alan, why is art an integral part of CG and its mission in Lewisburg?
Well, thank you, Melinda, for having us. Basically, Carnegie's mission is the arts and education. So enriching people's lives in the region, in the community through programming, through education, through our artistic endeavors, is an important part of any mission, but especially our mission as Carnegie Hall.
Wonderful. And let's touch on programming as well. I'll start with Cathy here. Cathy, what is the Main Stage Performance Series?
Absolutely. So the Main Stage Performance Series refers to our concert series that normally takes place between September and May. It happens in our newly renovated Hamilton Auditorium, which was named for local philanthropists and friends of Carnegie Hall, Lawson and Jean Hamilton, and has undergone a top-to-toe renovation, which actually happened during the closure for COVID-19. The concert series features a variety of genres and includes normally a visit from the West Virginia Symphony Orchestra. This year we'll feature a New Orleans style jazz band. And Alan, since you were instrumental in putting the series together, if there's anything that you'd like to highlight for this, our 38th season, you should jump in there.
Well, we have, of course, we have the show coming up next week with Chris Matthews in the auditorium, as well as a special presentation with Doris as Lady D, and it will be the Blues of Bessie Smith. That's something we're really looking forward to. And coming up in February, we have Amy Helm, February the 18th. And in March, on March the 26th, we have the Steel Wheels, who are a regional favorite, always do real well here. And then, of course, as Cathy said, Tuba Skinny in May. And they have been featured on the Treme television show. They are like a Dixieland sort of jazz group. We also have a group duo called the Honey Dewdrops on April 1st that we playing on our main stage. So we have quite a few opportunities for people to come and see us for the end of the year.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Alan and Cathy. Lots of great things going on at Carnegie Hall, and we'll have more details in just a bit on some of those things that Alan and Cathy touched on. But Cathy, I want to bring you back in for this next question. What about the Ivy Terrace series? What is that exactly?
Well, the Ivy Terrace series is truly a local favorite. It is our outdoor summer series that's free to the public. It happens a couple times a month from June to normally September. This year we extended the season to run through October, and it was very successful. I think we will try that again. But families, individuals come after work, they bring picnics, they listen, they dance, they socialize to local favorites, and people love it. And a funny story about that, a local city official told me a few months ago they had an advanced leadership team of Ascend West Virginia visit Lewisburg to assess its feasibility to participate in that program. And of course, they anticipated all kinds of tough questions like availability of rental property and parking issues and that kind of thing. But the first thing that they wanted to know was when the Ivy Terrace series was going to resume. So we're very proud of it.
Yeah, lots of exciting things happening. That sounds like a fun time. And Alan, what about the art exhibitions? Can you touch on those a little bit for our viewers?
Sure, absolutely. We have 3 art museum galleries in our building. We have the Old Stone Room, and we have the Museum Gallery, and then we also do a gallery in the back of the auditorium in our lobby. Doors will be hanging in the lobby for January, February, and March. Robbie is actually in our museum gallery at that time, and then we have Jamal Hoskins, who is in our Old Stone Room gallery for the months of January and February, and then in March we do a partnership with the county elementary schools, well, actually not just elementary, the whole school, and we do a art exhibit for what we call the Creative Youth art exhibit, which will hang for the month of March, and it's a juried exhibit, and it's always been a highlight of the school year for a lot of the children, and certainly a highlight of our year.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Thank you for sharing that, Alan. It sounds like fun, and we have to take a quick break, but I have one quick question for Cathy before we do that. I understand that there are some spring classes and workshops available this year, so Cathy, can you go ahead and share some information on those for our viewers?
Absolutely. So our educational programming is vast and covers everything from initial exposure to the arts to children and novices to classes that really help people become proficient in their chosen craft. So the best thing that viewers can do at this point is to visit our website at carnegiehallwv.org, where you can find a complete listing of our spring classes that will begin mid-February. And these are there are classes in everything from painting and drawing to basket weaving, sewing arts, kitchen arts. We started a new series this spring called Appalachian Heritage Series, where you can even process a pig and make sausage, in addition to doing leather working. And of course, we have clay and music classes constantly. So I would urge any interested viewers to visit that website sooner rather than later, because our classes do fill up rather quickly.
All right, great advice. Thank you, Cathy. Lots of fun things going on, a little bit of something for everyone at Carnegie Hall this spring. We have to take a quick break. We have much more to talk about. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're focusing on Carnegie Hall in Lewisburg. We've learned about its history and mission, and we've heard from those involved at CG. So now let's talk about Martin Luther King related programming. So mark your calendars. Coming up this Thursday, January 20th, there's a performance at 7 p.m. So I want to bring back in Carnegie Hall CEO Cathy Rennard. Cathy, what is happening coming up on Thursday?
Oh, so we're very excited about this. We have Lady D presenting a show that she wrote herself called The Lady and the Empress. It's at 7 o'clock in the Old Stone Room in a cabaret style setting, which is a tribute to 1920s blues legend Bessie Smith. And this show is highly acclaimed all around the state. So we're very excited to offer it here, not only in honor of Dr. King and that celebration, but this will also kick off a new series for us that we're in the process of naming, but it will be a level of programming that will be in a more intimate setting where guests can enjoy a beverage and the show, and we are very excited about it. So tickets are available online for this, very affordable at $10, as well as the door, and we hope people will come out and see Lady D Thursday night.
All right, that sounds great, Cathy. And Alan, maybe you can jump in here. There's also an event on Friday, January 21st. So share some information on what's going on.
Well, we have Chris Matthews, and Chris is a very well-known artist from the D.C. area, and she has she's been called the next Woody Guthrie. She's very big on activism in her music, and she touches on many subjects, not only relevant to the past but relevant to the day and also the future. So that will be Friday, and then on Saturday she's also giving a little workshop type thing of activism in your music that we would be doing at the local venue, coffee shop, the Wild Bean here in Lewisburg, and that will start at 10 a.m. and it's open to the public to come and sit in for that.
All right, that sounds like a lot of fun, Alan. And also a follow-up question for you. Coming up, there's some more events that we touched on, but January through March, African-American artists are going to be featured in 3 galleries. Can you touch on that?
Yes. We have Jamal Hoskins, who is an artist from Beckley, and he's hanging in the Old Stone Room for January and February. His art is it's very interesting. He does a acrylic and paint marker on wood. They're very large portrait style work. It's very interesting. Robbie, who I'm someone here, he will be able to talk about his own exhibits, but he is hanging in our museum gallery, and then Doris Fields is hanging in the lobby gallery in the auditorium. And I'm very excited to have all 3 of them, on board for this.
And Alan, why do you think it is important to have local artists' work featured there at Carnegie Hall for the public to come see?
Well, it's important for any of our local artists, and we're blessed with a plethora of really world-class talent in arts and music in this region, and it's a good pool to choose from. They make my job a little bit easier, and it's important to get it out there. It's important to have, at this time especially, to let people know that we have artists of color in our areas that are doing wonderful works, very vivid, strong and powerful works that these people were doing, and they need to be seen, and I think it sparks a lot of good thought, a lot of good conversations. So.
And I'd like to bring Cathy back in for this next question. Cathy, for the folks who live down here on the southern end of our TV market, like in Bluefield, or maybe even on the Virginia side, and they haven't ventured up to Carnegie Hall, are you all open during the week to just come and check out the grounds and check out the building, or should people call and make an appointment if they're planning on heading up to Lewisburg?
Absolutely. We would love to have people just drop in. The galleries are open daily from 10 to 4. The building is also open for tours. We will happily drop what we're doing and guide you on a tour, but we also have a great self-guided tour guide that you can walk through the entire 4 floors of the hall with, and it also invites you to hop up on the stage and videotape yourself singing or telling a joke or doing something at Carnegie Hall. So no, the public is always welcome, and many people bring their pets.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you can bring your furry friend to come check out Carnegie Hall.
Bring your furry friend.
Let's mention that website again for folks who may have missed it.
Our website is carnegiehallwv.org.
Okay, and then they also have a page on Facebook, so you can go to Carnegie Hall WV and check them out on Facebook. Perfect. We have to take another quick break. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. This morning, we've been learning about a gem in Greenbrier County, Carnegie Hall. So we've heard about its mission, history, and upcoming performances, workshops, and much more. And art is also an important aspect of what's done at CG. So now I'd like to bring in artist Robbie Moore. So Robbie, can you tell us more about your work as an artist and your work specifically with Carnegie Hall?
Yes, well, thank you for having me today, Melinda, and it's such a pleasure to show at Carnegie Hall. This is my first time showing my art there. I've been showing my work here in southern West Virginia and around the state for almost 25 years now, and I'm a mixed media artist, and I truly love it. I've always made art, but been professionally exhibiting for that time. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Robbie, elaborate more on exactly what type of art you do then. Let our viewers know what you specialize in.
Yes, well, I'm mainly a painter, but I spent many years of sewing as a costumer, and so in this exhibition, I'm featuring some new work that is quilts and inspired by Appalachia, of course, and then the long tradition of African quilts, which is where quilting originated on the continent of Africa, and so incorporating my work into quilting style, not your traditional quilt, but incorporating painting into quilting as well.
Oh, yeah, you don't hear of that every day. That's really cool. And how does it feel to have your work, to know that it's being on display at Carnegie Hall?
Well, I really love it. I've enjoyed being an audience member in Lewisburg and for all of my life here in southern West Virginia, and I've enjoyed many productions at Carnegie Hall, and I appreciate what they do for West Virginia and especially Lewisburg, and so it's really great to have the opportunity to show there.
And I'd like to bring Alan back in for this next question. Alan, can you just share more about the importance of having different types of art that people may not see. Like Robbie just touched on some quilting mixed in with painting, and that's something you just don't hear about every day. Can you talk about how these unique works of art, what that means to have these works on display at Carnegie Hall?
Yeah, it's very it's exciting for me to have the different styles of art that we get. Robbie really surprised me when he brought his exhibit in. He hadn't really told me what his new stuff was going to be, and of course I trusted it. Whatever he was going to do was going to be excellent, and it is. We've done quite a few different types of displays, exhibits over the years. From wood turning, woodworking. We do a lot of sculpture, clay works, multimedia, sort of. I don't know how to actually put that, but we've had some interactive multimedia exhibits that were very interesting as well. So, you know, art's not just drawing or painting. There's a lot of different ways to do art, and everybody's vision is unique, and it's good to have a large and wide breadth of art for people to experience.
So, Alan, how do you determine which art goes on display at Carnegie Hall? Do artists reach out to you? Do you do some research to see what might be a good fit there, or how does that work?
All of that. Yeah. I have a lot of artists that reach out to me. I put the call out, on social media, through my network of friends, Robbie and such, of artists that they know that they think would be, excellent candidates to do exhibits here. I've been trying to focus a little more here on artists that haven't had as much experience at exhibiting their art, and try to get them started in it, because I feel that's an important aspect. Somebody has to give them somewhat of a chance to get their foot in the door, and I really enjoy doing that. So with art and with music as well, trying to help people further what they're doing with their arts. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it just is a little push is all they need.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to bring back in Robbie for this next question. Robbie, for those who are interested, where can they learn more about your work as an artist? Do you have social media pages like Facebook, Instagram? Do you sell your artwork on a website, or how can people learn more about your artwork in particular?
Yes, I do. I have a website, Robbie Moore Art, and it's ROBBY MOORE art.com, and you can go there, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow me there, and I post pretty regularly. I'm also a member at Beckley Art Center, and I show my work in their gallery quite often, and I'm a member of a juried artist at Tamarack, so you can see some work. They have a new exhibition and open up too. So yes, all of those places.
Well, very exciting, and thank you for sharing some more about your work as an artist as well. Really exciting that it's going to be featured at Carnegie Hall as well. We have just a few minutes left, but I want to bring back Alan in for this next question. Alan, what do you think is the best part about Carnegie Hall? It seems like there's just so many aspects to it. There's workshops, there's a beautiful outdoor area, beautiful events that go on there, but what is your favorite part?
Oh, that's a hard question for me to answer, actually. I love it all. I've been here for quite a while. The building is pretty special itself, but just what we bring to our community, to our region, not just the music, but the camaraderie and the relationships that we've tried to foster in our community, working with our community to, I've always said we're not a community center, but we are a center for the community. So to me, that's probably my favorite part of it.
Yeah, it seems like there's just a lot of fun events going on at Carnegie Hall. Well, I want to thank all of our guests for joining. Alan, Robbie, Cathy, you all shared some valuable insights, so thank you all. And I do want to remind our viewers that you can certainly go to their website to learn more information, and their Facebook page, Carnegie Hall WV. There's some beautiful photos. In fact, we have some I'd like to share with our viewers again that it's just beautiful, the outside facade of Carnegie Hall. There's a lot of history here dating back to the early 1900s and a lot of just different family-friendly events. You can go check out some of the art exhibits. There's performances going on at Carnegie Hall. And like as Cathy had mentioned, if you are interested though in a spring class, you should sign up early and get ready for that, as well as those classes do fill up quickly. Well, that does it for this edition of In Focus. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us. And this show really is about people and events in the two Virginias. If you have an idea for a segment or if you'd like to be featured, you can always send me an email. That's mzosh, M-Z-O-S-H, at WVVA.com and label it as In Focus idea. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and seeing what we can cover here in the two Virginias and put on our show In Focus. That does it for us this morning. We'll see you again next Sunday.